Hello innovators, I hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. It's been well overdue. You guys have been wanting a crypto market outlook, so here we are ready to jump in, covering BTC, XRP, Ether, LTC, but more importantly XRP, as I know that is exactly what you guys are looking to have covered. So first of all, again, apologies, we have been working so hard behind the scenes on the Innovation Markets desktop app. That has been the predominant focus for us over the past few weeks. We have had to slow down the content ever so slightly for the public whilst we've been prioritizing getting the app out and getting all of the members content out on a consistent basis. But before we even begin, just to show you guys what we've actually been working on, because we are so excited. We are pretty much a week away from launching now. This is the Innovation Markets desktop app. As we can see, I'm spamming away over here to refresh the codes so no one tries anything funny, but this is the desktop app we've been working on. Now I'm going to quickly log in and just show you guys very briefly what exactly is lurking behind here, and then we will continue with our breakdown. So if I just log in now, you can see we have now logged in to the desktop app. Now this is not 100% complete with this current build. However, this will be complete today, which I'll then be showing you guys with a little teaser, maybe in a YouTube video later as well. Just to show you guys what we've been working on and why we have been a bit quiet is because the desktop app is now almost complete. Now, just to give you guys a brief outlook, this is going to be a mirror and hand in hand of the mobile app that we already have. Many people have wanted the desktop version, so we've been spending months behind the scenes just perfecting this, getting ready, including some new features as well. We've got the trading sessions on the dashboard. So this whole panel you see here is your dashboard. This will be relevant to your time zone. It will show you if you're in the the London session, the New York session for Forex trading hours. You've got your weather widget, same as the app. It will tell you if it's the afternoon and evening, and we've got the notifications panel over here as well with the live widgets. So all of your notifications and everything we provide will now be mirrored on the desktop app as well. So you can very easily just get your notifications here that will also come to your desktop. Press the notifications tile and bang, you are on the Innovation Trades page. You can, again, full high quality, all of the trade setups provided here, the updates. You can now go onto the charts from the desktop app as well, which will be eventually bringing into the mobile app. We've got all of these new cool widgets that you guys can use. You can check the current bias on different pairs for Forex pairs, crypto pairs. We just need to get the gold and oil one sorted out. You've got crypto pairs down here. All of the videos that you guys are familiar with, absolutely everything, the live sessions, the podcasts, everything you guys are used to is now available on desktop. So we cannot wait to bring this forward to you guys. The risk calculator is fully functional on here as well. You can calculate this. It will tell you your lot sizes, and we've even added cryptocurrency news as well, which will be available upon launch. You will have all of the latest crypto news available here, which will then take you directly to the website, so you're always in tune with the market. But that is essentially what we've been up to over the past few weeks in particular, and we cannot wait to see that come forward. But now, jumping into the charts, it is a very interesting time in the cryptocurrency market right now. I'm sure many people have been slightly frightened by the potential pullback on BTC and what this may mean for other pairs. However, looking at the market overall, we've kind of taken a different approach to this. Instead of trying to be the hero that times the top again and again and again, or the person that knows exactly when the market is going to potentially correct, we are using everything around us currently, and I am more importantly using the whole market overall, from a social media perspective to the parabolic prices and rises of other pairs, to get a good understanding that, to be honest with you, the top is likely going to be coming in very soon. But we're not here to predict where the top is. Instead, we're here to understand where price may be going in that potential crash and when the potential correction comes into play, to then identify the next best investment opportunities. So we've got several indicators here on BTC, which I believe is going to make its way back up towards the $62,000 region. We've got head and shoulders forming over here, which again, there are many telltale signs that are proposing and suggesting anywhere from the $62,000 to around the $70,000 to $80,000 region will very likely be the top for this market when you're factoring in all of the other things that are going on. Now, with the current perspective, I'm more focused on the moment, on seeing BTC coming up to the $62,000 region to potentially complete the head and shoulders formation, the left shoulder, the head and the right shoulder coming through, to then fulfill the Fibonacci sequence over here. And you can see the 78.6 is precisely at that head and shoulders region as well, which may potentially cause the next sequence down towards that $38,000 to $36,000 region, which of course will be a massive confirmation that the next extensions down from that point onwards will of course start to become $20,000 to $10,000. Now, from the very point of time of when we've started analyzing this market, even from when I first started taking shorts on BTC at $16,000, since this rally has progressively got higher, I have stuck to the same downside target bias that no matter how high this goes, the downside pullbacks for the next market crash will remain from $20,000 down to $10,000, and I still heavily believe that $6,000 is a possibility. So I'm not changing any of that whatsoever. I'm still sticking to it. And in this game, if there's one thing I've realized, even I've called every single market top correctly, because I haven't called this one, and because I actually started taking some shorts at 16k and they didn't work out, the market kept going higher, I decided instead of trying to be the hero, Mr. Correct, or whatever it is I want to, or people try to be in these markets, I'm instead just playing the patient game. And the patient game has always worked fantastically well for me. That's how I've managed to make a significant amount of money in this market. And it's all down to the psychology of detaching from what's currently happening and understanding that instead of jumping on all these bullish trends and all the pumps and trying to make short-term games, because I've already made significant money from the remainder of my portfolio, from XRP as well in particular, I don't need to jump on board now with any of these trends. I can actually sit there on my hands and wait potentially months more or even a year to see these movements come through, because the most money you will make is buying when the market is at a significantly undervalued and low point. When the market corrects and you can sit through those cycles without getting involved, you can take some shorts as well if you want. I'm happy to actually sit back now and wait for the market to come towards my targets before considering investing any further. Now, for the Innovation Markets members and community, they will have known that we've invested another $40,000 into a select few projects and DeFi projects, which we believe may actually be outperforming the market when this inevitable bear cycle comes through. Now, in a current perspective of what the market's doing, the NFT hype, I believe, is just a massive gimmick. It's another reason and method for influencers, celebrities, and all of these people to make a lot of money by claiming something is the future and revolutionary. And to be honest with you, it's mirroring the 2017 ICO phase massively, where we've got coins and projects called Come Rocket, as an example, doing 600% plus in a single day. Now, this is mirroring 2017 almost precisely in the fact that this is where, and just to kind of use the Bitcoin chart as an example, for those of you like myself who started investing and buying during the crash in March 2020 for XRP, as an example, at this particular price round here, BTC is a good example. So many people, the smart investors, would have been buying around this particular region here, which means those who were anticipating a potential bullish move have been catching the trend, riding the wave. Throughout this period, first and foremost, it would be incredibly foolish to think that all of these institutional news articles you see, that they're jumping on board at these prices here, it would be incredibly foolish to think they were not involved from the offset anyway. They are not going to jump on late and miss a piece of the pie after such a significant move has happened. They've been present since prior to 2017. So it would be incredibly naive and almost arrogant to believe they were not involved in this particular pump here as well. Now, as general market cycles go, the average person, the average Joe, and the retail trader does not jump on board until the very last minute. And it's often when the retail influx comes in, the market makers now take over and the retail traders get wiped out, which is why I'm optimistic there could still potentially be a push on BTC up towards the $70,000 to $80,000 region, which will be fueled by all of these retail traders jumping on board to potentially cause one final push. Because history has taught me, once the retail traders do start jumping on, if this was not the final push already, they could be the additional movement needed to aid that push up to 70 to 80k, before a major market correction happens. But whilst we keep that in mind, that there is a possibility for price to actually drive in towards this potential region up here one final time, the main focus at the moment is understanding if price will hold these levels or not, which will be an even bigger indicator of a major market correction that will eventually start coming into play. Now, from a trend line perspective as well, BTC has finally broken out of almost every single trend line now that it has been holding throughout the movements of these parabolic rallies. So using a potential guidance here, if we do not see the drive holding at this 78.6% level, we do have this trend line here now, which we can use as guidance for where BTC will potentially be driving back up to retest, potentially coming into this 70 to 80k region, to then create the final massive drastic drop to the downside and kickstart the bearish cycle. So when you consider retail influx, you have to remember the average retail trader, if we do go over to the monthly chart again, they aid the final push, because whilst everyone's made the money, the retail trader only invests at price that they deem as safe to get in. They will never invest during a bearish cycle because they're too scared. They will never invest in the beginning phases because they will consider it a bubble. And only when it becomes an actual bubble does the retail trader actually jump into the market, because then they've missed out on the predominant majority of the movements. So they try to get on board last minute because they feel now that it's made these movements, it will never come back down again. And as history has taught us, it always will come back down again. It doesn't matter what people say about the institutions and who's jumping on board or whatnot. Eventually, the bullish momentum runs out. The bears take over. The bears then kind of recoup. They get ready to start dollar cost averaging their way in. And that is how you successfully trade these kind of cycles. We do not want to be jumping on board once these movements have been made. We want to be patient at these points. And if you've been following us, you should be in a situation now where you're actually able to take some profits out the market, leaving some within the market to maintain that exposure in case price goes higher, and then allowing the next market corrections to dollar cost average in and accumulate your holdings further. So with BTC, the most important thing before we break down that head and shoulders and whatnot is this monthly candle closing in 5 days. Now, if we see this monthly candle close bearish the way it currently is in 5 days time, that is going to be one of the biggest bearish indicators for me to actually confirm the market, whether it goes to the extra leg higher or not, is going to start potentially rolling over. So again, I'm not here to be precisely correct, as I always need more confirmation. A lot of these people you see saying we're going to 100k next or 80k or 70k, they're only doing so because the market is going up. You know, there's no historical price action, as I've covered before. So there's not much real logical or, you know, there's not even any informative backing behind these decisions. It's easy to say 80k next, but what's more important is understanding that everything can come crashing down, which is why most of my focus is always on not having the correct top being called, but having the correct bottom being called and prepared for when that comes through, which is why the innovation market members especially understand I do not care for when the top or bottom is anymore, because I would rather be prepared for a major market correction to then utilize that opportunity properly and actually maximize my holdings and dollar cost averaging in whilst everyone is absolutely scared out of their minds. Now, historically, after a huge bullish rally, when we see the monthly bearish candle close and form, price usually does not recover from that point. It then kickstarts the bearish cycle, because the monthly candle is one of the largest indicators that something drastic is changing in that market momentum after months on months of bullish candles. 2017, we saw the bearish candle, the market went into a bear market. 2019, when we hit around $14,000, we hit that bearish monthly candle, the market declined all the way back to $4,000. So if we see this same cycle come through, I'm placing my bets on $20,000 down to $10,000 with a possible wick fish, again, one large spike coming into that 6k territory. So this is all on the cards for me still, as I say on every single video. I am not letting go of these downside targets because I do truly believe they are going to come through. Now, going over to the 2-week time frame as an example, $60,000 has become a crucial level for Bitcoin to maintain. And as we can see now from a 2-week perspective and even a weekly perspective, from around 60k, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles weekly candles, 9 weeks worth, failing to really break above this level, which in itself is a telltale sign. By applying the principles that I teach in the cryptocurrency lessons in the course, available on YouTube and in the app, you guys will know the bulls are tackling this territory and attempting to get through, but the bears are consistently applying that pressure to the downside, and at present the bulls have failed to break above this region, which means the bulls are likely understanding there is a significant amount of selling pressure. So the bulls are slowly but surely, instead of taking an additional risk of trying to break through a heavy resistance levels, the more that level holds, the more the bulls are slowly going to get out of the market and shift bias in the more dominant favor, which of course at the moment is bearish. Now, we had a really unfortunate situation in terms of a trade setup, as you guys may have seen in the last video, I believe as well. We were actually short from around this region here of around $58,000 to $59,000. At this point in time, when we entered short around here, I believe it was, we had a stop loss at $61,000, and we were looking to go short to a target of $48,000, which unbelievably spiked through, took us out, and then dumped exactly to the profit taking target we were looking at. So despite the fact the trade actually didn't work out, the bias itself was 100% correct, which shows we are moving in pretty good symmetry with the market right now. And what I said to the innovation community was, if we do see $48,000 coming through, it doesn't mean we get too excited just yet, because again, weekly candle closures, if weekly candles are closing above these wicks over here, it is proposing that there is going to be another upside push. Whether that breaks 60k or not, we have an easy upside target of $62,000 in mind. And I do truly believe now BTC is going to start gearing up for that next drive higher to decipher whether or not it can actually break through this particular level. If this can happen in a relatively quick manner, then this could easily fulfill multiple confluences for a head and shoulders, a trendline retest, closing back below and gearing up for the next leg lower, which of course in combination with a monthly candle closure that's bearish will be the biggest indicator we've seen yet that eventually this momentum is going to start bleeding out. From a technical perspective alone, the signs are closely approaching. From a overall market perspective, again with the NFT hype, people are becoming so deluded now into believing that cryptocurrencies are just an instant, never-ending profitable cycle. SafeMoon, Dogecoin, absolutely ridiculous. And again, going back to 2017, with the likes of meme coins, the likes of ICOs, and all of these crazy things, we are seeing miniature bubbles within an overall cryptocurrency bubble, which is usually a telltale sign when that euphoria reaches that point. It's getting closer and closer to eventually collapsing in the opposing direction. Now, this doesn't mean the market's dead by any means necessary. Again, I wouldn't be giving downside targets to reinvest back into if I thought the market was dead. But just from a logical standpoint, I don't need to come here and say, you know, Uniswap V3 is coming out, everything's going to go parabolic, or this is just buying the dip, warm up, the bears, just running out, the bulls are preparing for liftoff. I don't need to do that stuff because I'm very neutral, I'm very unbiased. I am here to make money, and quite frankly, I don't care if it goes higher, if it goes lower first. I am here to make money, so I don't need to be right or wrong, and we're going to see that in a minute with XRP, because I actually play both sides of the market in these particular predicaments. And sometimes people will say, oh, but you're just saying it could go up or down, you're playing both sides, and you're absolutely correct in saying that, because the goal here is not to be the smarty pants, it's not to be the genius that corrects either way, because normally 90% of the time plus the biases of mine do usually come through anyway. It cannot look realistic in the moment until months later people go, oh my god, why didn't I pay attention? So I do not care for being right or wrong as long as the outcome is income, and quite frankly that tends to be the outcome for me with how I do things in a particular manner. So with BTC, first and foremost, for an additional confluence on $62,000, all we need to do is go over to the CME futures chart, where I had a Fibonacci tool set up to see if this would actually maintain the 78.6 fib to then continue a potential move higher towards $70,000 to $75,000. We had a huge gap over here. As we can see, it's now broken this level, which is aiding my bearish bias even further now for something to happen much quicker rather than later. Now that this has been eradicated, the 78.6 fib, we also had a gap open over here from around $54,000 Price created another gap up here, came up, created another gap over here at $62,000, which conveniently is exactly where the 78.6 Fibonacci is, and also the right shoulder potentially forming. So that is a massive confluence for not only a bearish breakout to the downside, but an upside retest coming in to fill a gap before the market potentially rolls over even further to the downside. We filled this gap and we actually broke through. Now we have another gap lingering at $62,000, which needs to be filled. And again, from a Fibonacci perspective, it's almost perfect how all of this is starting to correlate. So the main focus at the moment is, of course, on the $62,000 region up to around $64,000, because I believe if this zone is maintained pretty much up to here, then BTC is going to begin a very drastic rollover to the downside. BTC dominance, I still believe this could actually come all the way back up to around 69% or so, which of course, if BTC does start correcting even lower, the dominance will likely drag down many of the projects with it. Now, the reason we've actually invested in certain other altcoins is because the ones we have invested in, the charts look like XRP at these current points in time. They have not gone parabolic with the rest of the market and in line with BTC. So we're actually happy to invest that $40,000 in massively undervalued projects, as they may potentially go parabolic and break that correlation with BTC, whilst BTC potentially corrects. Now, when I say some altcoins may go parabolic, some of the ones like XRP, Ether or LTC, because they have seen that significant movement in synchronization with BTC's rally, it's more likely than not XRP, Ether, LTC and some of the more major top 10 coins that have seen that movement will likely roll over with BTC as well. Now, as you guys know, XRP is the main focus here. And if I go over to Kraken and show you guys the current balance and show you what has changed since our last video. Now, Ripple, we currently have 185,622 XRP. We did have 225,000. However, we took another $50,000 profit off the table, and we did have $240,000 here. However, we have obviously invested that additional $40,000 into some new projects that the members obviously know. However, the $200,000 here remains for XRP only. And when we go over to the XRP chart now, we can see from the buys and sells that have taken place, this was the last buy and sell I believe I updated you guys on around February the 1st, 2021, where we took that 150k profit. But as you can see recently on April the 10th, we took another $50,000 profit to bring our total XRP profit to $200,000. Ready to reinvest in the market. Now, there's two other buys here that you need to ignore. That's $11 that we had to make for a certain purchase, and $1,600 over here that was used for the 1000 XRP giveaway. So that was actually a very horrific XRP buy. However, whoever won the competition, and congratulations to him, he has received a nice payment of 1000 XRP. So we have not necessarily done anything since taking $50,000 profit. And again, as I've said in every video, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm not here to catch the very tops. When we go historically to all the other sells, the way we scaled out, we're not here to be the genius. We're here to just make them money. So as we can see, by going all the way over here, we scaled out, we bought again, we sold, spiked higher, we sold again here, it spiked higher, but now price is actually back below our level. So we do have a buy limit in place. As you guys know, the goal is to obtain over 1 million XRP. Now, we're not going to give that specific buy target as it is reserved for the members. However, the goal is to get 1 million plus XRP. So you're probably going to get a good understanding of what we're looking for here in this particular instance. Now, even if, and just to show an example of why we actually look to take profits out of the market, when I covered earlier the win-win situation, playing both sides of the market, many people in cryptocurrency, they are so scared to take profits and they're so abided by the principles of hodl, 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 that they forget that when the market does eventually pull back like it always does, there was so much money potentially on the line for so many people here that they could have capitalized on. But again, the fear of just simply hodling forever stops them from capitalizing. And many people have been holding for months or years and seeing such promising returns only to leave with absolutely nothing, which is exactly why we are continuously taking profits out of the market. And considering we started from $30,000, we now have $200,000 secured, which in itself is a fantastic return on investment, while still leaving another $200,000 in the market running. This was actually at $600,000 when we went towards the $2 region or the $1.8 region. However, the pullback in valuation has not affected me because I've actually secured profits off the table. So this is why when I say I'm playing both sides of the market, you're absolutely correct, I am. Because I've taken profits, and in the event we see that pullback now, I can massively reinvest into the market and grow my holdings potentially tenfold. Where at the same time, if XRP was to go absolutely parabolic, I'm still making money regardless. And just to put it in perspective, by going over to the portal, let's just say with the remaining XRP we have left, if I was to sell 100% of that at $3, that's over $500,000. If it goes to $5, that's almost $1 million. That's $900,000. If it's to go to $10, that's almost $2 million, while still taking significant portions out of the market. Remember, the goal here is not to be greedy. Many people do not, just to be honest, do not hold enough cryptocurrency. So all they're doing is betting on the moon and the moon and the moon. However, you do not need to invest a lot to make a lot. You simply have to take some profits out of the market and reinvest whenever you see a significant drop. It would be absolutely foolish during a rally towards 1.8 to $2 not to take even 5 or 10% off the table and just leave a little bit running. You do not want to think and look, oh my god, if I take out 10 or 20% of my holdings now, what if it goes parabolic? I'm missing out on so much money. No, you are still making money in the progress. And when you're comparing this to traditional instruments and traditional markets, we have to be grateful for the profits and movements we are seeing in this market, because it's not going to last forever. The market will not continuously go parabolic forever, especially during its current phase of being unregulated. The minute those regulations come into play, we're slowly but surely going to see continuous organic growth higher, but it may not be parabolic like it once was, because this is still the infant phase. But when we actually progress into a more mainstream adoptance and actual regulatory clarity, it's not guaranteed the market is going to be like this forever. And I always say this to the members as well. Before we had cryptocurrency, if I was to say to you today, you could invest in something that will turn your $30,000 into $600,000, would you not take profit in that point in time? And cryptocurrencies have clouded our judgment, especially now. People again are trying to become millionaires overnight, and they're trying to do so by hodling forever. Dogecoin, SafeMoon, all of this crazy stuff going on, even, cummies, all of this stupid stuff, Cumrocket, people are just hodling, and not capitalizing along the way, when the reality is, if this was a stock that was going parabolic, any normal person would be looking to capitalize at least something along the way. So we are not wasting years and months of our life holding something to make theoretical gains only to go back to break even, which is why I actually do this, to show you guys that this is exactly what I do to make money myself and ensure I do not leave empty-handed or holding for years and making a significant profit only to end up back to break even or with all of those unrealized gains wiped out. The fact of the matter is now, with XRP, weekly candle again, very significant if this closes the way it does in a week's time, because this is very clearly going to then ignite a potential move back to the downside. Now, I personally believe with all of the positive SEC news that's come out, remember, the news is already priced in beforehand, which is how we predicted the 20 cents drop in the first place down to 17 cents when it was up here before the SEC news came out, because price will do what it needs to do, where the fundamentals will then come out after as a justification for such movements. So I believe the positive SEC news was already factored into this movement over here. Now, as I covered to all of the members as well, and potentially even to you guys, I believe that there would of course be a spanner in the works coming through at some point to the SEC news, the SEC case with Ripple. If we go over here, we can see now the Ripple executives refuse to provide their offshore trading records. Now, the SEC, I saw another article yesterday as well, which is ridiculous. They are trying to obtain documents from 14 different exchanges to show where Ripple has been sold or an investor's bought some stuff directly from Ripple. And obviously they know that Brad and Chris have netted approximately around $600 million from the sales of XRP. So they're obviously applying the pressure, and it's very obvious that at some point in time, the case will eventually have a spanner in the works, or something will come into play, which will potentially aid everything else that's going on in the market. So I believe something could be happening in terms of the SEC lawsuit, where we have another hearing in 5 days, by the way, on the 30th of April, which will again potentially provide more clarity and public information, which could provide some form of sell-off. But regardless, for myself, I believe XRP is still coming back down below the 50 cents territory, where I would then be looking to dollar cost average and accumulate my holdings in once again. As you can see, we took profits on XRP again, the 50k at 1.3 or $1.25. Now, even if I was to buy back in right now, just as an example, with the full 200k, I would have 182,000 XRP even right now from taking that additional 50k and the remaining profit out of the market. So even if I bought back in right now to hodl, I would still be doubling my holdings and I could leave that to run. However, I believe there's a much larger downside possibility. It's not about, everyone on Twitter is saying it's going parabolic, it's just a warm-up, blah, blah, blah. But the technicals are showing a different potential perspective. Now, I still believe if we use the Fibonacci as guidance, A, B, C, coming up all the way to the highs again, I do believe XRP will come back up to around $1.8. Now you can see yourself where those Fibonacci targets align, which is exactly what I showed you guys at this current point in time as well. And everyone said this is ridiculous until XRP went from A, B, C down to D, which is where again we invested the remaining money in and bought 450,000 XRP. We are now seeing this on a much similar scale. The only difference is, because of where BTC is, I believe BTC will go all the way down to 20 to 10k and even lower. But XRP, with this meteoric rise, I believe has come through to actually protect the price of XRP in the event we see a market correction. So I believe BTC will have a very significant crash at some point this year. Now, what that will mean is many of these projects will go down with it. As you guys know, I still believe Ether can come down to even $200 to $300. LTC is looking incredibly bearish. I gave this region to the members that it would be coming up to the 78.6 to recoup lost ground, tap into this area over here of massive liquidity and close lower. Monthly candle in 5 days. If we see monthly candle closures within this region here, that is an incredibly bearish sign for LTC. So whilst it will leave a huge wick, and even on the weekly, we will still likely come up to retest the highs on all of these pairs. The weekly at the moment is closing below that 78.6 as well. So LTC can very easily still come down into that $60 to $40 region. As crazy as it sounds, we have not actually broken the highs yet. We've literally driven all the way higher. So these assets can potentially be protected if BTC drops. The only difference is with XRP, because we haven't reached those all-time highs yet, all we need to do is flip this in the opposing direction with the Fibonacci from top to bottom, and we can see if this is to come down, it almost fulfilled the first level of 80 cents. If this can come back into 50 cents or lower, the next legs higher are 2.5 and $3. Now you will recall in one of the very first videos we made, our target for XRP this year was to come up to the $1 to $2 region, which we have actually now achieved, and nobody believed this was possible, which is why we're so excited that we feel we are in perfect synchronization with XRP in particular. So whilst we have actually invested in some new projects that may potentially drop short term as well, we have used that as a hedge in the event whilst we wait for XRP to move, because we do not need to chase a million different coins and projects, because all we need to do to make a lot of money is simply time XRP perfectly, which is something we seem to specialize in particular. So I personally believe we are going to see another potential drive up to the highs on this pair alongside BTC before a more significant rollover happens. But more importantly, when XRP does potentially come back down in line with BTC dropping, I believe in line with positive SEC news coming forward, XRP will be one of the first ones to break out and go parabolic upon meeting these downside targets, to then rally and continue the sequence higher. From a monthly perspective, even if this rolls over, there's a huge amount of wicks that need to be filled over here. from a 3-month and 6-month perspective, as I covered in one of the prior videos. People thought I was being insane by covering this chart on the 6-month time frame. We rolled over, we filled all of the wicks. Now if this can close back down as well, there is another wick coming through. Now this is important to note on the monthly. Look at exactly where XRP reversed from. The monthly candle, where it closed and where it opened and collapsed, is exactly where we've come into, where there's a huge amount of selling pressure clearly. Price is driven up, triggered those sell orders, and it's already collapsed massively. This is a beautiful example of why we say take profits, because in a matter of seconds you can lose everything you've invested and worked hard for in a split second, when all you could have done was taken some profits along the way. Now, even if we split that $200,000 we're looking to invest into XRP, if it even does go higher first, we can even scale our way in below $50,000 to accumulate those holdings towards 1 million XRP, where upon seeing this potential move lower one more time, which I actually believe will be the final time XRP comes down towards these regions. Once this movement comes in, alongside what I believe to be a positive outcome for the cryptocurrency market and the SEC case, XRP will go absolutely parabolic, and this will likely aid many other alts to move in line with it. Especially with exchanges now looking to relist XRP, it's no coincidence this is all happening in one point in time. Now, the most important thing I want to bring up as well is the headlines at the moment. We are seeing JP Morgan coming out now warning of a potential crash. Now, most of the time, as you guys have seen historically with how we've played XRP, the articles are generally something you do not want to be paying attention to. But the most popular thing we have been seeing at the moment, let's just find the word we are looking for: regulatory outlook. If there's one thing I've seen increasingly over the past 2 weeks, is the word regulations in every single news article coming out. It is no secret now, with the danger of the likes of SafeMoon, Dogecoin, all of these random coins jumping, the NFT craze, Bitcoin going higher, they are going to use this as a ploy to justify faster crypto regulatory action. As I've said since early, even 2020, regulations are the next stage of the agenda, especially with CBDCs being pushed forward, China racing to get the CBDCs out first in time for the Olympics and stuff as well. There is going to be a push for regulatory action. Now, the Turkish Central Bank at first said they're banning it. Now they've said they are looking to regulate it instead, and will be providing more details in 2 weeks to basically regulate it as a form of payment, and more importantly focus on it as a form of investment. No matter where we go at the moment, regulatory action is on the cards, and it's pretty much a given that this will scare the market and be a great justification to bring price back down lower. Whilst regulatory matters settle, everything is clarified, especially in the likes of XRP, that I believe will then cause that parabolic growth. But I do believe we need one more move to the downside and things are going to go crazy, which is when we start looking at the possibility of $3, $5, $10, $20, $50. I'm not joking. Hopefully you guys have seen from what we've called so far with a lot of perfection that all of these upside possibilities are very realistic, and anyone saying otherwise, using the market cap as a justification, truly has no clue what's actually going on. But more importantly from this as well, Coinbase Pro announces listing of stablecoin Tether USDT. 26th of April, which is tomorrow. Now, considering Coinbase is listed on the Nasdaq, considering they are regulatory compliant, and considering USDT has still never had an official accounting audit, this is crazy in my opinion. And this is another sign that when CBDCs are being pushed forward, the question I asked myself the other day and posted on Twitter is, what is the need for USDT when CBDCs are fully integrated? Now, in 2017, USDT was a great asset because not only did it help pump as it is pumping now, we can see Tether actually minted another 2 billion the other day. Again, it does raise the question, how many people are actually buying Tether? But the main purpose of USDT was to help the unbanked. Now, in 2017, most exchanges were not working with banks because banks were too hesitant. So USDT provided that bridge for institutions, wealthy people, and the average investor to exchange their fiat for USDT, the stablecoin, to then deposit onto exchanges and buy. Now, most exchanges already have banking connections now in the modern day. So USDT essentially is becoming less and less needed and more redundant by the day. But when CBDCs come out and we have digitalized and tokenized fiat currencies, why would we need USDT, which of course, no matter what anyone says, is aiding the massive prop up in BTC's price? Now, with regulatory action coming forward, it's very likely at some point, considering what's happened with the recent Tether court case, being banned from trading in New York and also being fined, it's likely going to open a can of worms. And it's no coincidence the other day, before the USDT listing, over 4,000 BTC was deposited onto Coinbase in anticipation. Now, it's not much of a wild speculation to say these people may potentially be looking to get out of their BTC and switch over to USDT in anticipation of something to come. There are many different factors coming into play here. Now, also to touch upon as well, just to mirror, going over to this new inverse Bitcoin ETF now lets investors short prices. If there's anything 2017 taught us when CME futures came out, price went down. Now, with the likes of more assets and instruments and indexes and funds being available for people to actually short the asset, with an increasing growth in institutional liquidity and investments, it's not really much of a long shot to say there will be a significant amount of selling pressure to follow, with new facilities being open to short BTC, whilst the technicals are already indicating something far more drastic may be coming into play. And a good example of this is when XRP was pumping up here and I took profits, again, everyone said the same thing. You're insane, this is going higher, it's going higher, it's going higher. But price continuously continues to prove it can end in a split second and everything can change. The most important thing to note in the cryptocurrency market is to never say something will never happen, which is unfortunately what a lot of maximalists are polluted to believe. They believe they can just say never, it will never happen, it's impossible. And that's why these people never make money in the long run. It's no coincidence now every single person is popping up with a cryptocurrency Telegram group. Everyone is suddenly an expert. Everyone is buying because it's easy to make money in a bull market. However, as 2017 and 2019 showed us, these people disappear off the face of the earth when a bear market comes because they no longer have an idea of what's going to happen. Everyone is so fixated on being correct in the bull market to entice new sales, new customers, sell their memberships, blah, blah, blah. I instead prefer to sit back and focus on what will eventually happen by filtering out all of the noise in the present day. As we can see already, the fact this went down from almost $2 to 80 cents, look at how close that actually is already back down to this region. It's actually closer to the original lower price before a breakout than it is to the original high. So the fact of the matter is, it is already very close now to where it once was prior to the breakout. So it's not much of a long shot to say with any form of bearish continuation on BTC. Even if BTC only goes down to $36,000 to $30,000, that would be more than enough to bring XRP down back towards these low level regions, which is where we can accumulate whilst everyone panics. And especially if this is aided by the likes of negative SEC news coming out, or they've ended up getting access to all of the documents and all of the financials from Brad and Chris Larson. That is where we strike when people are fearful. How many people said XRP was dead during this incident where we bought 450,000 XRPs worth? If anything is to happen and this comes down again, people will say the exact same thing. You do not get rich in a bull market, you get rich in a bear market. And sometimes the best thing you can do is sit on your hands, take some profits along the way. Remember, these are beautiful movements we will not see anywhere else. There is no reason why you should not be capitalizing even in the smallest manner. And then when price comes back down, we reinvest. And this time, if price does come down and we fill our buy orders and I accumulate 1 million plus XRP, I am not taking profits easily anymore. But the beauty is, I will not need to wait for the moon anymore, because once I get to that, hopefully once I get to that figure, every dollar movement is $1 million profit, which means even if we go to all-time highs and hit $3 or so, I would be relatively stupid not to take some money off the table if I make $3 million off a $30,000 investment, which at the moment has already gone from $30,000 to $600,000 to $400,000. So the main purpose of this video, guys, is to show you yet again why patience is incredibly important. Why taking profit is incredibly important. and why it's also important to tune out from what's going on in the market right now, take a step back, ignore and filter out all of the noise, and be patient. These things can take time. It can seem unrealistic in the moment, as I say in every single video, but as the future continues to unfold, it tends to work in our favor. So sometimes the best thing you can do is sit back, take your profits, put yourself in a win-win situation. You take profits, it goes lower, you buy more and grow your holdings. It goes higher, you're still making money. A win-win situation is what we are here to do. Now, once we do the Crypto Weekly Outlook tomorrow for the app as well, we'll be breaking this down into further depth alongside all of the new altcoin investments as well, and much, much more. But I hope this has been a valuable video. Again, anything you guys need content-wise, please do not hesitate to let us know in the comments, and we will be straight back with more content for you all. And hopefully the desktop app will be released within a week or so. Members may get it relatively sooner before we start actually publicizing it to everyone. However, a lot is coming in store. And again, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, and see you all very soon in the next video and in the desktop app.